So what we're going to do today is that we're going to be learning about Pygame 0. So now to install Pygame 0, this is the game we're going to build today. So if I run this code, you can see that I have a game here, and every time I click on the fruit, it's displaced. So I'm shooting the fruit and I'm getting some points. So when I miss this point, what is going to happen is the game will stop. So now to build this game, to use Pygame 0, you need to install Pygame 0 and Pygame. So to install it, what you're going to do, you shall open your command prompt. So to open command prompt or terminal, depending on which case you are using. So I'm going to call CMD, and I'm going to open my command prompt. So to open my command prompt here, I'm going to call pip. I'm going to call pip install Pygame. Pip install Pygame. After installing Pygame, then you'll have to install Pygame 0. So you'll say py, then 0. So after installing Pygame 0, press enter. Since I already have it installed, I don't need to repeat myself to reinstall it. So after that, now in Pygame 0, most of the functions in Pygame are already predefined. So to do so, you're going to have to open a new file, and this new file, I'm going to call it shoot2.py. Now you should save shoot2.py in the directory where there is an images directory or folder which has my images, like an apple, an orange, and a pineapple. So after that, I'm going to save it here. So I'm going to say save. Let me see. I'm going to call it shoot2.py. Then I'm going to save it. So after saving it, I'm going to need to start writing my code. Write my code. I'm going to import pygz run. After importing my pygz run, what I will do, I'm going to say pygz run.go. Now this pygz run.go will execute my code which I'm about to write. So to continue on as developing the game, what I'm going to do, somewhere down the line, I'm going to need random numbers. So in order to get random numbers, what I'm going to say from random, I'm going to import random integer, which is randint. After that, I'm going to have to create my my sprite. So to create my sprite, I'll say apple is equal to actor. Apple will equal to actor, and that actor, I'm going to call it apple. So after creating my apple, now this apple name, it should correspond to the images I have in my directory. So in my directory, as you saw previously, I had an images what? I had an images file. So this one should correspond. Now this actor is already predefined in Pygame 0. So I don't need to define it. So if you're asking where are you getting this actor from, I'm not importing it. It's predefined. When I call my import pygz run and I do my pygz run 0, it's going to import for me automatically that actors class. So after that, I'm going to have to define my draw function. So to define my draw function, I'm going to say define draw. Now my draw, I don't need to run this draw function. It will be run automatically since it's predefined. It's predefined in Pygame 0. So then I'm going to call screen. Now screen is also predefined. I don't need to define it. Screen.clear, which will clear for me my screen. Every time it's about to draw something on the screen, it will clear the whole screen. Then after, I'm going to call apple.draw. So this is a function in the draw class, apple.draw. So after that, I'm going to how am I going to place my apple onto the screen? So I'm going to define place apple. But now this place apple function is not predefined. So I need to run it after defining it. So this is where I'm going to need my random numbers. So I need to place my apple at random positions on the screen. So to place it on random positions on the screen, I'm going to call apple. I want to call apple dot. I want to call apple dot x. Now my apple dot x is my x position. I need a random number, but this random number which I need to generate, I'm going to have to generate it between a range. So I want to generate it between 10 and 800. Then also for the y position, I need also to generate a position, a random position for my y, for my apple to be placed y. So that I'm going to call it random init, and it's going to be between 10 and let's say 600, not 800. Now, after that, I need to run my place apple, because remember it's not predefined in Pygame 0. So my place apple, I need to run it. So if I run the code right now, it's saying py z is not supposed to be pgz run, this one supposed to ppg. I'm sorry for that mistake. So if I run the code again, you can see that my apple has been placed at a random position. If I run the code again, the position of the apple changes. So let me quit off the game. So after that, now I need to, every time someone clicks on the apple, I need to destroy the apple, or give him a point, or tell him that he has made a good shot, and then place the apple again on the screen. To do so, I'm going to have to define a function here. Now this diff function it's predefined on mouse. Pygame 0 predefines this function. So on mouse down, so when I call my position, after calling my position, I'm going to check if the apple. So now this on mouse function, it will pass to us the positions, the position coordinates of the mouse, exactly where the mouse is when the mouse is clicked, or that's on mouse down when it's clicked. So then I'm going to check on apple. I'm going to call apple dot collide point. So after calling apple dot collide point, I'm going to pass in the position. So this function will check if the apple has collided with the mouse position. If it has collided with the mouse position, meaning that the person has made a good shot. So I'm going to say good shot, print good shot, so meaning that the person has made a good shot. Or else, if the person has not, after the person has made a good shot, I need to change the position of place, to change the position of the apple, put it in a new position. To do so, I'm going to have to call the place apple function. Now what this does in Pygame 0, when you place the apple and you rerun the apple position, if the x and y coordinates of the apple changes, the apple will be placed in a new position. So it's like the apple will disappear on the screen. So after that, I'm going to say else. Now, what if the person has missed the position? If the person has missed the position, you print maybe you missed. So after press, you'll print that you missed. So if the person has missed, then you can quit off the game. Now in this case, you could maybe give the person more lives, and if the person passes the limit of lives, you would quit off the game. So now if I run the code is here. If I run the code, every time I click, it says good shot, and the